Among the many video games that emerge from the gaming industry each year, quite a few are created based on popular film titles. Some of these games are not released alongside the films as complementary content. It's not uncommon for them to come as additional content that isn't even present in the film, which make us wonder if gamers would check out a game adaptation of a film if they weren't fans of the movie. But what's clear is that game adaptation of films still have their own appeal to gamers, especially those who also enjoy watching movies, because surely they will be very excited if they can finally play their favorite films. So in this video, we've chosen 7 films adaptation games that have successfully proven that not all games adaptations of films are bad. Therefore, here are the 7 best film adaptation games of all time. Spider-Man 2. The first on the list is Spider-Man 2. This game was released on June 28, 2004 for PS2, PSP, GameCube, and others. Spider-Man 2 itself is adapted from the movie of the same name starring Tobey Maguire. If Insomniac's Spider-Man game look familiar, you might have previously played Spider-Man 2. Even though it has very memorable control and gameplay flow, Spider-Man 2 successfully improved the game's narrative by adding additional villains and various content from the comics that wasn't in the film. This made the game feel like a new experience with a fresh story. And it's not just the game adaptation of the film. The visuals of these games are crafted beautifully with smooth mechanics when you web swing through the tall buildings. Combined with the city's intricate details, it makes the game feel more alive. This game truly makes you feel like Spider-Man. And as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, we will make sure that all the residents in our neighborhood are safe from criminals. The Ghostbusters, the video game. This game was released on June 16, 2009 for PC, PS2, Xbox 360, and others. Ghostbusters, the movie game, is an adaptation of the original film released in 1984. What's interesting about this game is its characters, as the characters in the game are the same as those in the original film. Various actors who portray characters in the original films also lend their voice to this game, making it feel truly like the original Ghostbusters movie. Instead of just rehashing the plot based on the film, this game even provides a fresh story, making it feel like the third Ghostbusters film. Because we play as Ghostbusters, the gameplay in this game contains some action elements as we fight ghosts while also being required to collect collectibles. It's no wonder that this game received a lot of praise for delivering charming and fun gameplay. X-Men Origins Wolverine. X-Men Origins Wolverine is an action-adventure game released on April 29, 2006 for PS2, Xbox 360, NDS, and Wii, adapted from the film of the same name. We can all agree that the X-Men Origins Wolverine film is the weakest in the entire X-Men franchise, or at least in the Wolverine trilogy. However, fortunately, the game adaptation of the film is very well made. The story in X-Men Origins Wolverine game doesn't differ much from the original, as it focuses on the origins of Logan, who initially is part of an elite military unit until he received his claws. Because this game has a high rating, it effectively portrays the brutality and relentless combat that are Wolverine's trademarks. So it can be said that the gameplay of the game is very similar to God of War, but with Wolverine's abilities, including his regenerative power. We can see our character, even when severely wounded, heal and recover. Mad Max. Next up is Mad Max at number 4. This game was released on September 1, 2015 for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Despite being released on the same year as the film Mad Max Fury Road, it doesn't mean the game is adapted from that movie. Instead, this game is adapted from the original Mad Max film released in 1979. The Mad Max franchise, which has been around since 1979, had enough plot material to be turned into a video game. But before this game came out, there was only one Mad Max game released in 1990 for the NES, which was also quite good for its time. Mad Max is an action open-world game where you play as Max and you can freely explore the wasteland world. Since this game has an open world adapted from the Mad Max film, there are certainly vehicles that we can use for traversal, and we can also customize them with various modifications, but to change their appearance and to strengthen our vehicles. However, when we're not driving the car, it means we are in combat with enemies. The combat in this game features is very brutal and satisfying moveset. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World the game is the beat-em up game released on August 10, 2010 for PS3, Xbox 360, and Nintendo Switch. It was released as a part of the promotion for the film of the same name, which also came out in the same year. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World originally began as a novel created by Brian Lee O'Malley, which was later adapted into a film by Edgar Wright. The film was eventually adapted into a beat-em-up side-scrolling game with 16-bit graphics, which will give players a sense of nostalgia for retro games. In this game, you will truly experience the feeling of Scott Pilgrim, as he must defeat Ramona's Flower 7 evil exes. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World the game brings a lot of exciting elements, from its music to its captivating visuals, and even though it doesn't have an online co-op mode, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World the game is still playable and enjoyable to play, which might be rare to find in most games. The Godfather the game. The Godfather the game is an open-world action-adventure game released on March 21, 2006 for PC, PS2, Xbox, and more. It is adapted from one of the famous film franchise, The Godfather, released in 1972. Like the film, this game tells the story of the rivalry between mafia families in the 1940s. The game story is filled with betrayal and revenge. As a crucial member of Corleone family, you will be continuously involved in dangerous missions. As an open-world game, it allows us to explore the vast and detail in the game world. The third-person perspective makes this game somewhat similar to the Grand Theft Auto series, but with a mafia theme. And adaptedly, this game is equal brutal, with various gunfight and actions you'll engage in. If you ever watched the Godfather film before, this game is must-play that you shouldn't miss. The Warriors. This Rockstar-developed game was released on October 17, 2005 for various platforms including PS2, PSP, and Xbox. The Warriors is a beat-em-up game adapted from a film of the same name released in 1979. The main mission of the game is to make it to Coney Island while clearing their gang's name after being falsely accused of killing one of the leaders of another gang. Although the game story may sound simple, it involves various parties such as other gang members, the police, and the others, which we have to deal with through missions throughout the game. This complexity in the storyline proves that the game is anything but simple, and it's engaging enough to make you want to replay it even after completing it. As the beat-em-up game, the core gameplay of this game is of course fighting, so the fighting mechanics in the game are well crafted, even though there are also various other types of missions that in any case involve violence. One of the things that make this game more interesting and better than the film is the additional of extra scenes at the beginning. The character development is also made much more solid. So there you have it guys, the 7 film adaptation games. Which one is your favorite? Or perhaps there's a game that we missed on the list? You can write in the comments below. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.